How's it going, everyone? It's Ethan here at eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Flint Hill Goods truck bed extender on the back of our 2022 GMC Sierra 1500. Just going to be a great way to get some larger items transported from the bed of your truck that might overextend, like this big ladder that we have here, some longer lumber pieces, or just anything that's going to extend past where you're comfortable with your truck bed. The bed extender will fit in your 2-inch receiver tube. It is a 2-inch shank. It doesn't actually come with the hitch pin or the clip, so we definitely recommend picking that up. We also recommend picking up a lock for the end of your pin, just so that no one can come by and take it. There's a little bit of a rise in the shank, but while we're down here, I'm just going to go ahead and measure to see how much ground clearance we actually have from the ground to our shank. It'll basically just be wherever your hitch actually is, because it doesn't rise until it gets towards the end. So about 17.5 inches for ground clearance. Nothing I would worry about when we're bumping or going over bumps or anything, especially with that rise. As you can see here, we do have a strap wrapped in this configuration sort of around our ladder. As long as you fit it into any of these pin holes, it should be fine. I would like maybe if the pins themselves were threaded or just something to give this a little bit more security. I imagine this is going to be rattling quite a bit when you're actually driving. But we'll go ahead and get this off, and I'll get into a little bit more details about the bed extender. So just a couple things to point out on the bed extender itself. You do have these arms on either side. If you remove the pin and the clip, you are able to remove them, store them back in this configuration, anything that you might need that's going to help you get your load from the back of your bed to where you need it to go. Again, I wouldn't hate if these were threaded, just for a little bit of added security. Whenever you're transporting something that's extending past your bed, I would imagine that security is a little bit more important than convenience, but that's fine in my opinion. There is reflective tape on the back, so when you do have something that's extending past your bed, you're going to let people know behind you that there is something extended past your bed. I'm going to measure, in our case, how far we have from the tailgate down to the end, just to see how much more room you're adding to the back of your vehicle. So from the bed to the end of the extender, it's about 26.75 inches. So for an already long bed and a long tailgate and a pretty long extender, definitely something you're going to want to consider is how much space you're adding to the back of your vehicle. In addition to that reflective tape that I mentioned earlier, there is this bright orange fabric piece that connects to this clip, or any clip I guess, but this one is the best way that we found to maximize your visibility. Again, because you are going to be hauling something that's oversized, you should let other drivers know that that is the case. A nice feature about this bed extender is the ability for it to also work with items that might be on your roof. So if we just pull this out of the shank, try to set it down as gently as we can, and we pull out the top crossbars, we are able to flip pretty much the whole setup. So now when your shank was here, the shank will actually be this part. So we can fit that back in, put our pin back in, and now we have it in a configuration where if we were storing something on the roof, we would have the ability to have that be a little bit extended as well. Now would be the time when this adjustability would come into play, and that's how that setup goes in that case. In this configuration, we're not so much worried about how far it extends from the back of your vehicle, but how tall it's adding from the top of the shank. So in this lowest position, it's going to be adding 55.125 inches from the top of the shank to these crossbars. And in the highest up position, it's going to be adding 63.25 inches to the top of your vehicle as well. Once you find the height that's going to work for you, make sure you replace that pin and the clip, and also put that accessibility flag back on there, or the visibility flag rather, so that that is where it needs to be. This is going to be capable of supporting up to 350 pounds of weight. So that's a nice way to get something a little bit larger that you might not be comfortable or have room for in the bed. Again, it is a little bit shaky, a lot less secure than I might necessarily want something like this, but overall I think it'll get the job done, and it is a decent fit on our 2022 GMC Sierra.